the Tactical Games is a 2-day fitness and shooting event. Through that, we'll run 8 stages typically. Generally, 2 of them are shooting only and 2 of them are fitness only. And that fitness only could be a 90-second sprint, and it could be a 6-mile ruck. We do a bunch of different things in that regard. And Skirmish is a single-day format, generally more local, like an elevated training opportunity. So they'll run 4 stages, generally 1 fitness only, 1 shooting only, and then 2 tactical game style stages, which would mix the 2 together. So opportunity for a lot of those in local areas, and they run them monthly.
You're listening to the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. I'm Bruno Fallon. I've spent my 4-decade career in some of the most elite units in the United States Special Operations community, where I learned that elite operators aren't made overnight. They're forged through hardship, discipline, and relentless drive. In each episode, I sit down with the most accomplished and innovative leaders in special operations, industry, coaching, and athletes of all disciplines. Let's jump right in. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. We got a guest I've been trying to get out here for a while, Nick Thayer, who is the owner, CEO of the Tactical Games.
Yeah, thanks.
Great to have you, Nick.
Thanks for having me out here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I personally think, this is just me, maybe I'm a little jaded, I think it's the fastest growing sport in America that takes a unique talent right now.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about here, because we sponsor quite a few tactical athletes and are starting to invest in it heavily, is you can't be a CrossFit Games champion and just go win, because you got to be able to shoot.
Yep.
And you can't be a national level shooter and not be fit.
Right.
So the 2 disciplines have to meet.
Yep.
And we get a ton of athletes that are CrossFit athletes because of the nature of the Born Primitive brand that are like, hey, I'm going to go compete in the Tactical Games. I'm like, do you have a shooting coach yet? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, until you can shoot, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So anyhow, welcome, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing this on. And thank you for the support that you guys give all the competitors in our sport. It's big to them and it's big to us, and it really means a lot. So a lot of our guys, I mean, Kurt's a member of your team, and they come from an area where they're trying to give back and do everything that they can for their community. So when a company is willing to invest in them and let them take an endeavor outside of work that still is going to get them interested in health and wellness, can get them into their weapons more often, that's huge. And I think that's paramount.
No, it is. And we've got some different levels of athletes that we're sponsoring. Of course, Janae.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Janae is, 2-time national elite champion. Janae's a fun story.
Yeah.
When I first met Janae, I just judged the book by its cover, and I know better. 40
She's
years,
like small frame, kind of
small
petite.
frame, very quiet, very reserved.
Yeah.
And then I watched the girl work out and shoot, and I'm like, holy beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she's an animal.
Yeah.
She is absolutely the person that when the competition starts, you're like, and where did she come from?
Yeah.
So I love Janae. Her and Jake are, her husband, are just such a cool couple. And then, Kurt, Kurt comes from a very, very, very humble background. And I have told everybody that I think he is the dark horse to go the distance this year. And obviously we hope so, because my goal is when we're out there next week in nationals is that when I'm looking at the podium, that a lot of the champions are not just my athletes, but they're all wearing Born Primitive.
Understandable. Kurt was my favorite to win last year. And he had one bad stage, and it kind of put him in the ground down about 60 points. And, if it weren't for that, I think he definitely would have been in the top 3. And Janae always, she's an incredible all the way around.
She is. We have some good people. We had, a matter of fact, Rachel, one of our, she's an ambassador and a federal agent. She came in 2nd overall in tactical at the Nationals. And I honestly think she would have won it, but one of the athletes elected to drop out of elite down in the tactical, and she won.
Yep.
Which I was like, damn it, that shouldn't be allowed. But it is what it is. But no, I'll tell you the one thing I really like. And for those that are not familiar with the Tactical Games, I think everybody listening to this podcast is, but let me give you a good basic. It is where CrossFit meets competition 2-gun shooting. That's the only way I can describe it. You must be physically fit and you must be into shot placement, because if you can just crush the obstacle or negotiate the task very fast, but then you get there and you throw 3 rounds, the penalties on those 3 rounds, you might as well have just taken speed off on the event, right? It balances out.
It's a balancing act.
It really is balancing out. And the other thing I like about it is that you guys have a standard where with your ROs, where the standard is briefed, and if somebody violates it, they're DQ'd. So it's also a thinking game. Thinking under pressure. Which, I mean, when you look at some from my community, elite military operators and the things you go through, one of the best things you can ever do for stress shooting is put people under duress and shoot versus just range shoot. And you're doing that. So, and you, if I understand correctly, you started out as a competitor, right?
I did. Yeah, absolutely. After I spent 7 years in the Coast Guard, I did nerd stuff in the Coast Guard. I wasn't an operator.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that.
And that is the less than 1% nowadays. So anybody that served is good in my book. So.
It was kind of a funny story of how I ended up there, but I ended up in the Coast Guard. I went to a Marine Corps recruiter, and then quickly was at the Coast Guard recruiter after that. So I didn't come in with a ton of experience on weapon systems, bigger weapon systems. I mean, combat weapon systems, but nothing small arms. And I found the sport when I was coaching CrossFit. And I went to my first event, signed up, and the good old days of when we started, it was kind of wild when we showed up. Tim, who started the sport, he came from 7th Group, 23 years in special operations. And his idea of a range day was he was going to give you whatever he wanted to do that day. And stages would finish. Somebody would finish in 5 minutes. Somebody would finish in 30 minutes. The schedule was all over the place, but it had something that was very special. And it was community. It was people pushing one another. It was a lot of things that I found were missing from my life that I couldn't bring back to when I was on active duty. So I was very happy to jump into the community and happy to be a part of the sport. And I was dog shit when I started. Physically, I could destroy everybody. I started in the intermediate division. I'd finish half the time everybody else did. And then I'd end up in 12th place, 20th place, 50, because my shooting was so bad.
Got it.
And after my first match, I went to one of the guys that was there that was helping me, and I was like, I don't know why, but when I point the rifle at the target, I'm just not hitting. He's like, well, what yardage are you zeroed at? And I was like,
there's a good question.
That's a thing, huh? And, after years and years and years of going through it and learning, I wouldn't practice unless I went to a match. That was my practice, because I had a career and I had so many things that I was doing. So getting exposure to a group of incredible people that were willing to help and weren't gatekeeping information, were always willing to share it. Jared, the guy that taught Janae, was actually pretty instrumental in teaching me as well. He was one of a few that were definitely behind my progression as a shooter. So I was very happy to have those people and to be involved in the sport. But yeah, it started out there, and then I begged Jared. So during that time, Jared transitioned as the owner of the sport. He was, and I think he'd admit to this if he pulled it out of a pretty dark spot. He wanted to save it. He wanted to make sure that it was functional. He wanted to fix some things that were just a little bit off about it. And he did a great job at that. And I wanted to help him with marketing because I loved it. I just saw the opportunity in it, and I begged him, and he ignored me. And one day I think he just needed more help, and he brought me on to help him out. And I did that for about 6 months. And then he needed somebody to sign a document, and they weren't going to let the marketing guy sign the document. Something they needed a company officer for. And he's like, well, you're the president now, so enjoy that. And I did that for about a year. And then as he was wanting to go back to family life and spend more time at home, because the demand is high. I mean, you're on the road. We're on the road total this year, probably about 20 weeks. We'll be gone from home. So he wanted to be back home with his kids, and he understood that the person at the front of the company needed to be there and present and around, and his kids, I think at the time, were like 12 and 7 or 12 and 8, something like that. So it was, a very important time in your children's lives to be around. So he wanted to go and do that, and I wanted to jump in full force on this. So convinced my wife, and we did it, and we've been doing it since.
So how long have you had it?
Just over 2 years, about 2.5 years.
So to be honest with you, the leap in the last 2 years, you're obviously doing very well.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
I think that, I think social media, the world today, between YouTube, Instagram, everything that's out there, definitely gives you the exposure where if you're doing something cool.
Yeah.
And you guys you're running them. I love the way you hit every region of the country too, because for people, to go out to Idaho and you live in Florida, that's tough, but that you have them everywhere.
Right.
And then now you even have the skirmishes.
Yep.
Can you explain the difference between the two so people can hear it?
Yeah. So the Tactical Games is a 2-day fitness and shooting event. Through that, we'll run 8 stages typically. Generally, 2 of them are shooting only and 2 of them are fitness only. And that fitness only could be a 90-second sprint and it could be a 6-mile ruck. We do a bunch of different things in that regard. And Skirmish is a single-day format, generally more local, like an elevated training opportunity. So they'll run 4 stages, generally 1 fitness only, 1 shooting only, and then 2 tactical game style stages, which would mix the 2 together. So opportunity for a lot of those in local areas, and they run them monthly. So you can go out and kind of get your feet wet, get your gear checked before you go out and, like you're saying, fly out to Idaho.
Investment in the game.
And make the investment in that. Right.
That's awesome. So for the people to listen, find yourself a skirmish.
Yep.
Go do a gear and gun shakeout. Have your gun zeroed.
Know what a zero is first.
Yep. Yeah, right. That's great, man. I love it. And then get after it. And then the other thing I'll say is, can you talk about the different divisions?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So the divisions of when I first started were basically intermediate and elite. I think there was a one below that was kind of smaller, but the idea now is to have an entry-level division, which is our intermediate division. That's for anybody just kind of coming off the couch. They can come out, they can compete. They don't have to worry about the weights being incredibly heavy or anything like that. The shooting standards are the same across all of them though. So that's one thing that we do like to have and like to keep. Then you move up into tactical, and the tactical division for both men's and women's is what I would consider the baseline of athleticism that you should have as an American, able-bodied American. For our law enforcement, for our military members specifically, that is like, you should absolutely be able to do that. It's like a PFT. You should be able to do this in order to serve in that capacity. And then we have our elite division, and the elite division is just no holds barred. I mean,
essentially the pros.
Yeah. I mean, the guys and gals that can go hard. And we do 40 plus, 50 plus for both men's and women. And then now we're doing 60 plus as well.
So I have a chance.
You do.
I turned 60 this week.
Do you really?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
So I have
That's
a
awesome.
chance.
Yeah,
I love it.
Great for 60.
Hell yeah, man.
Our 60 plus competitors that we just started that this year, and we started as a category.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so doing it.
Yeah. So nationals this year will have a 60 plus division.
Nice.
And there's probably so far our biggest match we've had, I want to say it was 11 guys in 60 plus, and one of them was over 70. He was like 73 years old.
I love that. I love seeing that.
Longevity. That's what it's all about. So I love the sport of CrossFit. But your body has a shelf life when you're competing at that high level, especially if you're a competitor in the sport.
Right.
It can be brutal. The modality, the training philosophy is incredible. I love functional fitness. Competition in that regard can be very damaging on your body. In order to prepare for that at the highest level, you need to run yourself into the dirt.
Right.
So what we try to do is make tasks that are not ever going to put you in that complete burnout. I mean, nationals is one thing. That's a 3-day competition. We're going to kick the shit out of you for 3 days straight. But after a normal match weekend, you should be able to go back in the gym on Wednesday and not be negatively affected by what happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how many competitors on average do you have at each event? I
ran this number yesterday, as a matter of fact. So this year we're averaging 240.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we've sold out our past 6 matches this year. I won't say a slow start. February is always kind of a slower month for us, and we only had like 200, I think, in that match. But we're averaging about 240.
And how many a year? Skirmishes and regular competitions?
Skirmishes next year, we should have 10 sites doing skirmishes around the country. And they'll run some of them every month, depending on weather. Some of them, the minimum is 6 times a year.
Okay.
So if you figure that's probably 60 matches between all of those at least. And then for us next year, we're going to have 16 matches around the country.
Wow.
And then 5 international matches as well.
You are staying busy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we like sponsoring teams in terms of uniforms and all that go to the competition. So San Antonio, Lubbock are 2 Texas teams that are going.
Great.
And they placed 1 and 2 last year.
Yep. Yeah.
They're extremely competitive.
They are.
And good dudes.
Yep.
And the thing I liked about them is they are also actually good in the house. So it's not let's just like they're fitness animals.
Yeah.
No, really good dudes. But no, you mentioned Kim Pastor. We absolutely support just about everything she touches.
Yep.
Totally believe in, what her mission is and everything. And, God bless her losing her husband out there in Austin PD, but it's a small world, right?
Yep.
And Sons of Liberty, you mentioned them. We are deeply partnered with them to the point where And as an apparel brand, I was told, hey, Bruno, that's suicide. But we are exclusive to them on AR platforms.
Yep.
That's all we'll shoot.
Yep.
They build, the Mark I is the best damn gun ever made.
Yeah.
Mike and Nate and those guys just got a machine going there.
Yep.
And love working with them. But so let me ask you this. As you grow the brand and grow it bigger, what's next for you? I mean, you mentioned the international matches.
Yep.
Where are those physically at?
So Poland will be this year. Our first international match is this year in Poland.
Okay.
And then next year, hopefully we're expanding into another match in Poland, at least one. Czech Republic, Slovakia, Italy is out there right now. Curacao is another one. And then hopefully Saudi Arabia as well. Yeah. Yeah.
No coordinations there, right?
Yeah, but the plan, all of them, is to eventually have a world championship.
Okay.
I want to have tactical games competitors all over the world, and I want to have a world championship, and I want to kick the shit out of every country every single year as Americans. I think we have the
Olympic
ability.
Sport,
yeah,
right? Hell
no,
yeah.
I would love to see that. The variability of it is one thing that probably people would, because every match is different. If you shot all 13 or 14 matches this year, you would have a different experience at every single one of them. So that's the one thing where, if we can get the Olympic Committee to agree to, hey, we're going to mix this up a little bit and kind of throw some stuff at these guys, that would work.
And it's good. I mean, it's again, it's not just shooting and fitness; it's a thinking man's game too. Because as soon as you change if you cannot, they used to in the 80s, there used to be over in Europe a CT, counterterrorism Olympics, and a lot of people would send people there and stuff like that, and nobody knew the schedule till they got there. Well, the host nation always won it because they knew it. They knew it 3 months out.
Yeah.
And they were on their ranges, their own course. And it's like, okay, these guys are really not that good, but they are at this.
Yeah. Right? When you know everything and you can practice for a couple months, it helps.
That's right. So so you see this as a world championship, you see the vision and all that kind of stuff. Where are you right now on like the development of how that growth happens?
So the biggest thing this year is for the national championship is live broadcast. So getting out and actually putting it out there where people can see it and follow along. We're always going to be limited to the amount of competitors that we can have at a match. I mean, you've got sunlight to contend with and so many other things. Or daylight to contend with. So getting more spectators and people interested in watching, and maybe some of those people will never compete in the tactical games, but if I get them interested in responsible firearms ownership, interested in health and wellness, then we're winning the game. At the end of the day, that's the final mission of the tactical games, is to get people responsible firearms ownership across the country and people interested in health and wellness. And as we start to normalize firearms ownership, instead of it's my crazy uncle shoots cowboy action or whatever it might be, now it's, oh yeah, I know a guy at my gym goes and competes in the sport. Maybe this is something I can get interested with. And then it's a range day, and then it's, now you're at a gun store, you're at your local gun shop buying something. And I think that's how we win the culture war. That's how we start to really.
So let me ask you this. People listen to this, especially some, you got former military special operators, you got people that just listen, law enforcement, first responders. What would be, besides going to a skirmish first, if you're going to give some people some priorities of how to get into it, what would you suggest?
Align your budget first. That's a big thing for a lot of people. It's not a cheap sport. If you have other things that you're doing that require money, i.e. drinking, like vices that you have, look at those and say, can I take something away from a vice that I have and put it towards something that's going to improve my life, improve my quality of life, my family time, improve the things that happen to me every single day, and then make the decision on whether or not you can dedicate the time to it.
Yeah. So just to give you guys some amplification on this, time and money.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some examples. So Dan Horner, who we've had on here and is one of my favorite world championship shooters, when he was at the Army Marksmanship Unit, and if you guys don't know who that is, they're basically the world champions at everything in shooting. When he was at AMU, they would on average shoot between 100 and 120,000 rounds a year.
Yeah.
He's with Team SIG now, and he shoots about 80,000 rounds a year. That's his job. That's his livelihood. Janae, who is the women's elite 2-time national champion, last year shot a little over 20,000 rounds.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about time and money. That's a lot of range time, and 20,000 rounds of brass is a lot of money.
Yep.
So that's perspective. Now that's to be the elite national champion.
Correct.
I would say that if you're trying to be competitive and go win, that if you're not getting on the range at least weekly, you probably don't have a shot.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate on whether time on the range is better than dry fire or not. And what's come to be the recommendation for our competitors that you'll hear a lot is like 90-10. If you can spend 90% of your time dry firing and just getting to know your weapon system, it's a much more cost-effective way to get it done. There's dry fire programs out there. There's plenty of books that have been written, from Stager to you name it. Like, we have a dry fire program. They exist out there. They're generally cheaper than a box of ammo, and you're going to get a lot more out of it than just going to the range and just pulling the trigger at a full-size BC at 15 yards.
No, I agree 100%. Everybody that's ever been taught pistol mechanics, if you didn't start out dry firing, holster draws, and all that kind of stuff, you probably went from A to F instead of,
I did it.
The mechanics, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the other question I have for you is, as people are building out guns and everything, you and I have talked offline about this. We're both big fans of Staccato. Some other brands are putting some pistols out that are very competitive. What would you say is, for somebody that's building an AR platform, what's your nominal shooting ranges from where to where? Where should they be zeroed?
15. So the zero thing is kind of another one that's hotly contested. Expect for a rifle, you're going to shoot 15 to 700. That's our range. Minimum engagement would be 15. We might have some hoser paper inside of that, but you're going to have to know your height over bore. You're going to have to understand mechanical offset. You're going to have to understand at 15 yards, when I pull this trigger, I'm going to be shooting at maybe a 3-inch triangle. Where am I going to impact? Because like we were talking about before, those misses are going to add time onto your score. And then understanding, having dope out to 700, expect to see movers, expect to see a variety of targets for all of those engagements. And then pistol would generally be anywhere from 3. We shoot like a dot torture drill that's absolutely terrible that people hate. And then we'll go out to 60, but that would be full-size steel. You're not going to shoot anything for accuracy that far out.
Okay.
And then for rifles, I definitely recommend 14.5 minimum, just because of that distance that we're pushing out to. Generally 16 inches is probably the best. I run suppressed, so I run a 16 now. I've got a Mark 1 that's a 14.5. I run a variety of different lengths, and I was out at Hat Creek 2 weeks ago, and that Mark 1 I put out to 980 meters without any issue. So you can run a 14.5 and be competitive for sure.
Nice. No, it's good, because I just built a Mark 1 for a competitor that's 14.5 suppressed it. So
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's good information. Pistols, any like first of all, in today's day and age, everybody's shooting a red dot.
Yeah. So, you have to be competitive, especially for our game. It was a tough transition for me because I had just learned really well how to shoot and shooting more action with my pistol. And then switching to a red dot, I was like, this is dog shit. I hate this. I can't find my dot. I can't do any of it. Now I couldn't shoot without it, I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody picking up a Glock. We've seen people win in every division with a Glock. 19s, 34s, you name it. We've seen it. Of course, you are going to be able to hit the target more accurately with less resistance on a trigger if you're shooting a 2011, a 211, whatever, a double stack 1911.
Right.
Staccato makes excellent pistols. They reign supreme in our sport for a long time. Now you're starting to see more and more people transition outside of that and go to polymer frame guns, go to just a variety of different things. There was a stigma for a while that you had to have Gucci gear to win in our sport. And a lot of people have been going in and putting the brakes to that and winning with Zev, winning with Glock, winning with just, you name it, $600, $800 guns. So it's awesome to see that.
That's awesome. And I'm sure at the higher levels, the guns come into play highly. I'll tell you that, just the guns that are out there nowadays, we talk the Staccato XC. That thing, it takes a good shooter and it makes them a great shooter.
Sure.
And then there's a lot of other custom pistols out there that way. I'm getting ready to go tomorrow, shoot some new Kimbers that we've never seen, that we'll see where they land. But I think that when you're talking about the guns, the other thing that we need to talk about, and Kurt Fennell and I talk about this quite a bit, you better back it up with good ammo.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
If you're buying junk ball, that is just, every round, especially if you're shooting out at distance, it's just going to come out of the bore a lot different.
Yeah.
So again, spend some money, get some good ammo, gets consistent ammo.
Right.
That's another thing. Staccato makes great ammo. You know, you can go to Midway and buy some bulk, nice, good 77 grain, whatever the hell you're shooting, 115, but get a consistent ammo.
Yep.
Get used to that ammo as well, right?
Yeah, and then get data on the ammo. A lot of people, and again, this is part of my learning journey and something that early on I never would have known the difference between muzzle velocity from rifle to rifle. And then you read the printed muzzle velocity on the bottom of the box, like this is definitely what I need to be putting in. And it's probably 200, 300 foot per second slower than what's advertised on there. So get new ammo in, chrono your gun, zero your gun, confirm zero on your gun. Every time you shoot, confirm zero on your gun. That way you're not just chasing something that could be wrong. I see a lot of people do that. I've seen it impact 6 inches higher at the same yardage, switching from one manufacturer to the other. It's just about where it's at when it's leaving the barrel, or where your lockup is when it's leaving the barrel. So ammunition selection is incredibly important. And the difference between good ammo and shitty ammo is not that crazy in price. And if you're spending the money to come out and compete for a weekend, don't skimp on the ammo. And then you're going to regret it later on, because those groups will open up really fast.
No, it shows fast. And again, that goes back to the principle of, if you're doing a lot of dry fire work, then when you're actually shooting the actual ammo, that should give you some more resources to buy the good ammo.
Yep.
And again, all of this is for those that are listening. If you're, I don't care if it's optics, gun, ammo, it's not just the cost. It's your familiarity with it.
Yep.
You know, you can build a Mark I from Sons of Liberty and put a really badass ATACR NX8, you know, Night Force on there and a Huxworth can. But if you haven't put rounds through that gun consistently, it's just a pretty gun.
Yeah. That's right? Exactly it. And people do that all the time. People will go out and they'll spend $6,000 on an Atlas and show up and have shot it maybe twice before. You could have got a Glock for $600 and put $5,500 into training, right, or something, to just get some familiarity with it. And I made those. I tried to buy performance early on. A lot of people go down that road, and if you're not going to put the time behind the gun, you're not going to learn. So that's what it comes down to, is just training.
No, and I'll tell you, I'll go in the Wayback Machine in the 80s when I ran my first Ironman. I was running it on a fucking Schwinn steel bicycle, and I was passing guys up on these carbon fiber and aluminum bikes like it was nothing.
Yeah. Because
they bought the pretty bike, but they didn't ride the bike.
Right,
they didn't train on a bike. It's no different, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get out and get after it. How many, just curious, so when you go to an event, how big is your staff at each event?
So we have 6, now 7 full-time Tactical Games employees. Generally at an event, we have a crew of about 18 that are either people that we're paying to be there, whether it's paying for room and board, lodging, food, whatever it might be. And then volunteers, we range anywhere from 10 up to 50 at every one of our events. So we've figured out some pretty good ways to get around not having a ton of support and not sacrificing the quality of the match. That's the value proposition is huge to me. I know just over 50% of our competitors are law enforcement, military, first responders. And I understand that you need to take your dollar further, right? You know, if you're not working overtime, if you're not crushing it like that, you're on a fixed income. I was an E5. I made $50,000 a year because I had a good BAH. So I understand how important that and the lack of disposable income that can be there. So I want to put on the best quality match that I can. And we've, I think, continued to elevate that by refining processes, getting better at how we do things, listening to lessons learned, and continuing to improve on things. So our match is ever evolving and always trying to get better.
I think that's huge. One of the biggest reasons I'm going to get into the SWAT national competition, besides having like 50 teams ask us to do it, is that some of the existing competitions do not listen to feedback.
Yeah.
I think that if you are setting a competition like you do very well, if you're not listening to the voice of the people that are competing, you're probably missing out, right?
I agree.
So, and you guys do that very well. I also love how you guys have real primetime coverage. What's her name? That's always
Lauren.
Yeah. I mean, Lauren's all over it. She's interviewing them.
Yeah.
They're coming off something gassed and she's right on top of it and interviewing them. So it's pretty interesting to me. So when people are coming out to nationals, and we're right around the corner for that, Is that a really good taste for them as a spectator to see what it's all about, or are they going to come out there and be like, "Holy shit, this is a grinder"? Because nationals to me,
Yeah.
I mean, you've made it,
Yeah,
right? You're
yeah.
top of it, and we I want to say right now I have at least 6 or more athletes that'll be at nationals.
Yep.
So
Yeah. That's Nationals is a very spectator friendly event. It's going to have a bit more of the oohs and ahs just because it's the championship and we
Right.
want to do that. I think it'll give people a good idea as long as they don't look at like a 6-mile ruck and think like, shit, I'm never going to be able to do this. For me, seeing somebody do something hard is motivating. It's like, okay, there's a challenge that's in front of me. I see somebody else can do it. Where's my path? How do I find that same path? So spectatorship has always been awesome at nationals. I'd love to continue to see that drive up. And with the live broadcast this year, opening it up to people that can't be there locally, but can see it from far away and kind of start to understand who these competitors are and give these people a name that if this sport didn't exist, might not have one or might not have, 20,000 followers on Instagram or whatever it might be. They're not Kardashians. They're people that are out there putting in hard work and doing real shit every single day. And that's a big thing to me is promoting those people and giving them the
recognition, because it's hard earned. I have a hard time pulling Janae away to do events for us because of how committed she is to training.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I always give her like, what do you need? Anything you need, because I want her on that. I want her as a 3-time champion. I want her on the podium. Like she, and the way, so us as sponsors, just so you know, if you become an ambassador with us, I keep it very, very small and very close knit, because they become family to us. And I have a mix. I have a mix of military, law enforcement / first responders, and then tactical games athletes.
Yep.
And it's funny, some of the tactical games athletes obviously wear 2 hats.
Yep.
But it's such a good crew. And when I put them all together, it's magic. And it depends on what we're doing.
Yeah.
If we're doing some shooting, somebody might be the dominant person there. And then we get into fitness and it's like, here comes Janae.
Yeah.
So, no, we have one athlete. And this is another thing that's interesting. I mentioned a shooting coach earlier. We have one athlete that is just physically dominant, but she lives in an area in Colorado that there's no ranges within like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's Katie Knight.
Yep. Yep.
And man, she comes out every freaking games. Day 1 is like the leader on the board.
Yep.
And then you get to day 2 and you get into heavy shooting, and she just drops.
Yep.
And she knows it. She knows she needs a shooting coach. But she knows she needs more range time, but there's just nowhere in the area she lives she can get it.
Yep.
So we're trying to figure that out for her.
Yeah. And she's an endurance athlete that has strength ability. She's very strong as well. So she's beat, I think, probably every men's elite competitor that we have in a run.
Yeah.
She can run.
She can run. She can run. She can run with weight.
Yep.
And she's fun. And she does it while she's smiling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I love that. So.
She, her boyfriend, Ben, they were in a team event a couple years ago, and watching her get after him was hilarious.
So that is when I first met her. She was doing a photo shoot for us here, and then it's up in New Hampshire or something, right? Where's it?
Yeah, it was New Hampshire. Yep.
She was getting ready to head up there, and I gave her some of our don't exist yet ladies opposite pants, and I'm like, hey, go try these out for me. And she wore them both days, by the way. But I was like, how did it go? And she's like, my teammate let me down. I'm like, and your teammate your boyfriend?
Poor Ben. I'm sorry, Ben.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I would let Katie down too, because she's a fucking beast.
She's a beast. Yeah.
I mean, she is. We did a photo shoot in Arizona, a content shoot, and we had First Form come out there, and we did a couple really baller workouts. And Katie is just like, this is her world. She's smiling. Everybody else is grinding.
Yeah.
So I just love it. So back to the games and some other questions I had. So are you at physically every game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
You're never home.
The good news is I get to share this journey with people that I truly enjoy, and my wife is part of it as well, which is it's coming from the world that I was in before, where we basically lived I don't want to say two separate lives. We lived together, obviously, but we had work and then we had our home life. And now, from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, we're engulfed in this.
You guys have kids?
We don't. No.
Okay.
No, we've got 2 dogs that we love, but we don't have any children. So fortunate at this point in our life that we don't have any children because we can dedicate so much time to this.
Right.
And it's
It
become
will
a labor
shift
of
if
love.
you have kids.
Yeah, yeah, of course, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your growth and everything, as you continue to grow, what as industry can we do for you guys besides bringing athletes into it and promoting it? What can we do?
Yeah, I think, and we're starting to see it, and I've noticed it all around. And I don't know what part we play in it, but I'm seeing a shift to health and wellness in the shooting industry. I'm seeing it it's starting to catch on in the military. It's starting to catch on in law enforcement. It's starting to catch on in the places that it needs to, because that shift is going to help people tremendously. And whether we're the reason for it or the end result of it or not, just seeing that happen is honestly the best thing in the world.
Yeah, competition is healthy. The main theme of people that watch this podcast is three things. It is human performance, mindset, ethos.
Yep.
We talk some industry stuff quite a bit, but we always seem to get back to the mindset. And that kind of brings me to exactly what you're doing. There's no question in my mind that I could take the most gifted operator and is physically fit and can be the best shooter there. And if that person on game day at your games, his mind is not in it, her mind is not in it, and they're not dialed in, they're not winning.
That's correct. Yep.
I mean, when Dan Horner was on and we were talking about shooting, the person that drops that round, that can't let that go.
Yep.
And move into the next stage, and it just eats at them, and now they start dropping more rounds.
Yep.
That's that contagious thing that gets guys going. How often do you see people get there and they're just overwhelmed with it, and they either quit, stop, or is that something you see?
Yeah, the quitting, not so much anymore. Early on, we would see like a pretty high attrition rate. I think people generally in the beginning of the sport didn't quite know what to expect. I think we've done a better job of explaining to people there is going to be a physical challenge in this. I remember an event we did in North Carolina in like 2020 at the range complex. We started with like 26 guys in elite, and by Sunday morning we had 12 left. That was you would see that a lot more. We're not seeing that as much. People mentally checking out, that shit happens all the time. They get exactly like you're saying, one bad thing goes wrong, or they have a misfeed, or they're on the line and they're trying to work out a problem, and it just frustrates them. The guys and the girls that had the experience and understand, okay, this is a temporary setback, adjust. Janae had an issue at nationals last year. It could have bumped her off the podium. She responded to it. She's built that into her training and understands how, when those things happen, how you're going to respond to it. That's the biggest part of it. Kurt, last year, disastrous first stage, 40% score. Came back and ended up in the top 5, and I think there were probably 30 guys competing in elite that weekend. So you can do it as long as your mindset is there, exactly like you're saying. You got to let it pass. Yep. It's one stage out of 12 that weekend for nationals, or it's one stage out of 8 at a regional event. You can make those points back. Is it going to be hard? Yeah, you're gonna have to work for it. But if you step outside of it, if you get goaded into somebody else's shooting cadence, I was with Shane Coley, the captain of Team Glock, and we were doing something in Georgia, and it was just a little shooting and fitness demo. And I got up on the bike, and I knew I could beat him on the bike. We got up the firing line, and I'm shooting a custom 2011, and he's shooting a Glock 34. And his cadence was so fast that I started to get sucked into it instead of running my. Up with him. Yeah. World champion. I'm trying to keep up with it, and then I remembered, okay, run your own race. Slow down here. When you get back on the bike, that's when it's time to get back at him. And it worked out well, but that's absolutely, you have to tone out what's going on around you, tone out the stage that happened before, tone out everything, and just exist in that moment. No different than if you were on an operation, or you have to be involved in what is currently in front of you, and what's behind you is behind you, and just how do I get better going forward?
Get rid of the white noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love it. So at the team event, you allow male, female combined teams.
Yep.
Is there only one team event a year? Is that the one in New Hampshire?
We do 2 team events.
Okay.
And we so this year our first one was at Texas, our second one Utah.
Okay.
And we'll move those around the country because that's a cool format.
Right.
It's great for us. It's scheduling wise, it's way easier because we have we can have twice the amount of people with half the amount of slots that we need to fill. So we can do some really cool and interesting things. So the team events are my favorite. I generally compete at one of our team events every single year.
Nice.
And I'll try to bring in either a person that's never competed before and just give them some experience of going out there and having fun. Or this year I picked a ringer and went out there with every intention of winning. And unfortunately, my wife got injured in the third stage and she was knocked out for the weekend. So Kurt had to finish it off with Lauren Khalil, and they had a good time. But that's the sport in general. The competition aspect of it is great. What I've noticed about our competitors is every single one of them show up to do the best that they can that weekend. They want to shoot their best match. And if they win because somebody else did poorly instead of them performing well, it's not a win to them. They don't want to win because somebody else didn't do what they were going to do. They want to win because they put the work in. They showed up with their best, and their best was good that
they're
day.
grinding.
Yeah.
I love it. No, so do you have any competitions that are team events that do masters as well too?
We do have a team division at every one of our events.
Okay.
So it is generally based on the intermediate weights. So it's designed for, hey, you're new to this and you want to bring a buddy out to compete with you. It's way easier to go and do something when you've got somebody next to you. So every one of our events has a team division. Our team events have masters categories, elite category, tactical, intermediate, women's only. We do all of those things. So we mix it in, and we've got some creative ways that we, in the different divisions, even with co-ed teams, keep it equitable. If you're a male and a female on a team versus two males, we've got scoring adjustments that we can make to ensure that that works. But you still, as a female, still need to be proficient on the firing line. That's the one thing that anybody can pull the trigger regardless of sex. So we don't make any substitutions or any sacrifices there. So you can definitely do it.
I think there's a couple of us going to try and take a spin at it next
Let's go.
year in the Masters. Yeah. So I'll tell you that it's kind of a running joke with us. Everybody's like, Bruno, how's Born Primitive going to get and take over the tactical games? I'm like, I already am. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at all the apparel everybody's wearing.
Yeah.
They're wearing every time somebody gets on a podium, they're in my stuff. We are taking it over. But no, it's a perfect marriage for us, because the one thing we did, and the reason I came to Born Primitive a few years ago, was to fill a void. And that is, nobody was building a human performance tactical uniform. Everybody was still using ripstop cotton.
Yeah. The worst materials.
Oh, dude, when it gets, and the thing is especially in the environment you're running out there, when it gets wet, when it gets muddy, it gets fucking full of salt from the sweat, it gets stiff, it becomes cardboard.
Yep.
We wanted something that moved with the body, that dries out and all that. And we made it, and we were not even targeting the tactical athlete. We were targeting the military operator and the SWAT operators and first responders. And then all of a sudden we started having this huge following in tactical games.
Yep.
And there's some other spinoffs of the tactical games that are out there too. That we're supporting a lot of people in there. There's one down in Florida called the Patriot Games. It's a much smaller version of what you're doing.
Yep.
But I think it's a good feeder for you. I think the people that can go down there and win and do stuff down there can kind of almost move up from the FAR team up to, because the level of competitors you have is insane.
Yeah. We attract, it's because we have a larger audience, right? We attract a lot of different competitors, from professional UFC fighters, games athletes, just world champion pistol shooters, you name it. We attract a really large variety of people. And it's great that there's other shooting competitions, because they're exactly that. They're feeder systems for us.
Right.
And people will dip their toes in something
grow,
locally.
develop, get in there.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's good for the sport, the industry, and everybody like that. Do you see any, industry question for us, as you continue to grow and everything? Other than doing live feeds and broadcasts like that, how else are you going to get the word? How are you going to become more primetime?
Skirmish, grow through Skirmish, through local competitions.
Okay.
So next year we'll actually have, and we started it this year in a pretty basic form of point series. And it's basically, if you could consider it as a regular season opportunity to go out and compete in Skirmish, gain some points, and just start to build on that. So I think the point series will be big for growth, but local matches are really a good way to get people out there and get them going.
Agreed. So when a competitor, let's just say, you have a regional that's going on or something like that, does a competitor get sent a package ahead of time that tells them everything they're doing, or is it game day show up and you get told there?
Yeah. We release our stages Friday night generally.
Okay.
So the night before the match starts, that's when they'll see what they're doing. And they can walk the grounds beforehand and maybe have a guess at what's happening. But it's Friday night, they're going to see the video of us vetting the stages, because we go out there and we test every single stage. But I don't want to put anything out there that's going to be dog shit. I want people to go out there and enjoy it. We want it to make sure that they're going to finish in the time, or we have an attrition rate, we have a cap rate, we understand what the shooting percentages are going to be and how the physicality is going to mix in with the shooting, and is this possible? The worst thing in the world is somebody can go out and just do the fitness and everybody's missing the shooting, and then they're going to win based on that. So we try to make sure that all those things are honed in. So we have that finalized generally by Thursday of the match, and then that's where all our penalties, and we kind of build off of that. So they get that document Friday night and they see a video of how to do it, and then they take it on that weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So nobody has the local area tactical advantage.
No. There are some. So like if you have a KDR range, right, and you know how your bullet's going to perform, and like Sawmill's a great example of that. I know you guys do stuff with Sawmill. Yeah. So if they can go out to the KDR range there and they understand, all right, here's what my hold is at 400 yards. I've got this dialed in. I know that there's a draft. I know that there's a left to right wind that comes through here often. So you can gain some things like that. But if you go to a range and you understand how to read wind, you're going to understand how to read wind no matter where you're at. So it's definitely a big help.
Nice. So in a nutshell, tell me what I'm missing here. So you want to compete, you go to a skirmish, you get your feet wet, you go to intermediate division, you kind of see what the 2-day competition's like. As you're getting ready, you build your gun system, you get good ammunition, good optics, good gun, you get proficiency on them. You're working on your fitness, and you go out there and you get it done. What else can you tell people that are trying to get people in the right mind frame of what it takes to get out there and do this?
Yeah, more often than not, the thing that I hear most commonly is I wish I would have started sooner. So for some people, like if you are safe and can safely handle a firearm, skip skirmish and go right into competition. And if you're physically capable of doing harder shit, don't start an intermediate. Go to the tactical division, go to the elite division, test yourself, and you're going to find something that you're not going to be able to do, and that's okay. It's the ones that come out and they face adversity and they immediately like, this isn't tactical, or this is just a game, I don't give a shit. No, you had a deficiency. Address that deficiency,
clean it up,
and come back and get better next time.
Yeah, and there's always folks like that, but there's a reason that so many people try and do stuff and don't make it. That's why that's why there's so many few people in the NFL, NHL, operators, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's a lot of excuses.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, that's cool. Male, female. What would you say your percentage is right now of athletes showing up?
About 25% are female.
Really?
Yep.
And I'll tell you, I think that's getting ready to grow exponentially.
Yeah. Our biggest participation that we've seen so far this year, I think, was 50 out of 350 females.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's huge.
That's good. Yeah. Now there's more and more, at least we're seeing it. We're seeing, and it's kind of funny because the way we're seeing it is because people hitting us up about, hey, will this work for this? I'm going to go compete in that and stuff like that. But no, it's awesome because I think a lot of military, law enforcement, first responders are looking for something other than work.
Yep.
And they're going out and doing it.
Yeah.
So,
and building the community around it, even like we were talking about San Antonio, they've put it into their SWAT team that fitness is part of what they're doing. If you need somebody to pull you out of a situation, literally pull you out of a situation, you want to make sure that person is physically capable of doing that. So in these departments, these units, Kokomo PD, one of our guys, Zach Rodman, he's the same thing. He's instilled it now as the captain that's in charge of training, the importance of physical wellness and mental wellness and how those things correlate together. And if you're putting in the work on something that's going to be a physical endeavor that you're training for, the endorphins that your body creates, just the natural response that your body is going to have is going to elevate you. It's going to make you a better dad. It's going to make you a better husband. It's just, those are the things that happen when you start to take time away from these vices that we have. And like, I pick on drinking the most because in the law enforcement military community, it's the biggest thing. It's the biggest vice that I see most often that negatively impacts people's performance, home life, just everything that they've got going on. So as much of that as you can kick out or limit and replace it with something healthy. Now, okay, maybe your wife comes and works out with you.
Right.
Or your kids are inspired by it and see it. You're instilling something in them that I think generationally will make a difference.
Agreed. I love that. And that's so much more than just competing. It's the whole lifestyle,
Yeah.
the whole, the whole vision of it. And it's cool you have that vision, because as people, so this is the one thing I'll say is, the husband that disappears for golf all day Sunday and his wife doesn't golf, that's tough.
Yeah.
But if you can get your spouse somehow involved, your
Yep.
girlfriend or whatever, so if they want to shoot, whatever, even if they get to a point where they don't want to compete, if they're alongside you when you're in the process of getting ready, and there's nothing wrong with fitness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is, I will tell you that, turned 60, 5 August. And for me, the whole game right now is longevity. It used to be strength, speed. Now it's longevity along with strength, speed.
Yeah, of course.
Longevity is part of it.
The 1 rep maxes probably don't happen as often.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be that guy that, 35-year-old big dude walks in and ratchets, 550 on a deadlift, and I got to throw 650 on there to be the big guy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, good lift, bro. I'm not lifting that now.
That's when you're younger, that it's an ego thing. It happens in the wild just as much as it does in the gyms. It's, you want to go out there and you want to physically show what you're capable of. And then eventually what you're capable of at the top end doesn't seem to matter as much as, all right, how long can I do this for? How long can I push this? How long can I still be athletic? Can I still be capable? Because we see there are plenty of 6-year-olds that are stuck on the couch.
Right.
That can't do a damn thing. That definitely aren't thinking about competing in the tactical games.
No, you're right. And I'll tell you what, just to go back to the same 2 names, and I expect to see them both on the podium because they're just awesome. But both Janae DeCosson and Kurt Fennell are 2 athletes that are competing in elite at the highest level. What I love about those 2 is how humble they are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're not out there making noise.
Right.
They're not on Instagram saying, I'm going to be the champion. I'm going to win.
Right.
They're just going to they're just head down, going to a match and winning.
Yep.
And they, every time I talk to both of them, and the first thing I hear is, I can get better at this. I'm like, I love you both, man.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yeah.
I love you both.
Yeah.
So I think that's the attitude you need to have in life is, I won, but I can do better.
Yeah.
Because guess what? When they get to nationals, they got to do their best.
Yep.
Right. Because that's going to be the show.
Yeah. And there's other people out there that have that similar mentality. And that is the thing that we haven't touched on yet, is the community aspect of what we do. And undoubtedly the most important thing about the sport are the people that participate in the sport. I've been in very few rooms where everybody in that room has contributed to the betterment of the country. And I feel like when we're at our match, every person that I do is like, oh, I'm a law enforcement officer, I'm a military member, I'm a district attorney, I'm whatever it might be. They're out there and they're doing something, and they understand that there's 2 sides to the world. There's a good side and there's a nasty side.
Right.
And the ones that have seen both sides of it tend to interact with people a little bit differently. They have a sense of calm about them. They understand that if something goes wrong, I can react to it. There's an opportunity to make a change tomorrow, whatever it might be. But the community that is involved in our sport is absolutely incredible. And the people that support it and surround it are the reason that it continues to exist.
Yeah, I think as an industry, whether you're hard goods or soft goods, whether you're doing guns, optics, or apparel or whatever, I think everybody sees the value in it and truly enjoys it, because honestly, for what we make as brands, your nationals here right around the corner are our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's where everybody gets to put their stuff, on stage.
Yep.
And get after it. And it's, it's an athletic competition.
Right.
So it's kind of cool that happens. Since we're right around the corner from nationals, why don't you tell everybody about it, where it's at, if they want to come see it? Why don't you give everybody some news on that?
Yeah. So Reveille Peak Ranch in Burnett, Texas, about 45 minutes outside of downtown Austin. 3-day competition, November 14th, 15th, and 16th. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll have about 300 competitors out there. We'll probably have about 45, 50 vendors out there, and as many spectators as we can handle, which this facility's had up to 10,000. So I know it can definitely do it. And Sunday night, we'll cap it all off under the lights. The top 5 men's elite and top 5 women's elite will go head to head on our final stage, which I'm really, really excited about. Last year, it was awesome. Last year, every year we've done the final stage under the lights, it started out as such a small competition, and now to see it and see how it's growing and see how the interest is growing and people starting to feel that, because Kurt, and so many others played collegiate ball or had some kind of place where they were elevated and they were on a platform before, on a stage before, and then to go back and step back out there and see it again, to be under the lights, hear people chanting and cheering and hear music. And we want to make it more of a festival atmosphere. That's it should be fun when you're out there. There's no reason it needs to be and I'm not picking on three gun or any of the other shooting sports, but you go out there and it's a match.
Right.
Matches are cool. I want to make it a festival. There's families that are at our events. There's kids. There's, everybody. It's an awesome experience. So anybody that can make it out, we'd love to have them and love to showcase our sports.
No, we're excited. We'll be out there as one of the vendors. Greatly looking forward to it. I'll be looking to poach some more athletes. When I'm out there.
Don't tell them that because they're not going to leave you alone now.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. So first of all, anybody that knows me, we probably get, this is no joke. We probably get 100 to 200 ambassador applications a week.
Yeah.
And I don't take any. First of all, I'm not looking to build an army. I'm looking to build a family.
Right.
And second thing is you got to be of our ethos. And this is I hate to be this way, but I'll be cut and dry. Like for our ambassadors to come from the military, they have to come from specific units and have to have been there a long time. Our first responders and SWAT team, we want decades in the industry, and we want them, well known. And straight up, for our tactical games athletes, it's very simple. You have to be of the right ethos, not just about yourself.
Yep.
You have to be part of community, and you got to be on the podium.
Got to win.
Yeah. If you're not on the podium, your resume is not going to make it to my desk.
People forget about you pretty quick.
And then there are some people out there, and they might listen to this and be like, "Oh yeah, you might be on the podium too." But I'll tell you, if your agent calls me and you don't call me, I don't want you.
We've seen that. We've seen, and it's self-correcting. That problem is self-correcting. When people come in with an ego or with any kind of, I think I deserve this. Generally, they're not.
Yeah, and self-worth, I've got it. I understand. We deal with this quite a bit. I deal with it on the outdoor side too. I run that as well, and we've got some celebrities that. Obviously, if you're having an NFL Super Bowl champion or probably the best bow hunter in North America and they're repping your brand, it comes with a price.
Yep.
But they're the right ethos.
Right. They
called me direct and we worked something out.
Yep.
And everybody understands that I'm not writing a check like Nike does.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. This is part of a team building thing. So if you're listening and you're going to be on that podium, first of all, reach out to me direct. Because I am the one that says yes or no. And number two, I'm going to actually reach out to this guy and be like, how are they competitions? Are they an asshole? Are they well liked? I mean, because if I don't know you, I'm going to be asking for people that are around you. Because it's one thing to win. It's one thing to win with finesse and class. And oh, by the way, if you're not reaching out and pulling up the people left and right of you that are not winning and making them better, you're not our kind of guy.
That's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about the games. One of the first things I asked, and again, I've never competed with you, was asked, how's the atmosphere? Of like 5 or 10 athletes that I had some really good conversations. And they're like, what I like about it is everybody puts the bullshit aside and they lift you and they help you and they're there for you and they pick you up. You go to some sporting events. I've been to some, especially fitness events, where it's dog eat dog.
Oh yeah.
And if I know something you don't, I'm better than you.
Yep.
Whereas it doesn't seem that environment. It's hey dude, your sling's getting ready to come off. You might want to,
And I've seen it time and time and time again. And I think it's because a lot of these guys and girls understand that whether they know or don't know that specific thing, like I've seen, I can't tell you how many times people putting and this is just an example, their barrel directly on a barricade, right? So now you've adjusted your point of impact. That could be the difference, not in that situation, but in a real life situation between you making a shot or not making a shot that you need to hit. That depends, somebody else's life depends on it. So it becomes a training opportunity for that individual as well, and an awareness that they have that they can now take back to their real world, their real application, where they're really putting that in where it's going to make a difference. On the firing line in a sport, it'll cost you a couple seconds and a penalty. In a real life situation, if you don't have that knowledge, it could cost somebody's life. So I love that aspect, and I don't think that'll ever go away as long as we continue to serve the communities that we serve now.
That's interesting. So I didn't even realize you have penalties for like if they do brace on a barricade and stuff.
It would be a miss. It likely. So, if you adjusted your point of impact, you're at a 50-yard target and you've adjusted it 1 inch or 2 inches high, especially for what we shoot at, now you're probably missing.
Right.
We do a lot of it's funny because every once in a while you hear people say that the shooting's not difficult. Come out and try the shooting. Like,
Right.
don't judge a book by its cover, because we have a lot of incredible marksmen that'll come out and they'll tell you this is difficult shit.
No,
to do.
and I think that is the buzz nowadays, is that the reason Janae wins versus Katie is Janae puts time in the range.
Yeah.
It's that
Yep.
simple.
Yep.
It's not a fitness with shooting. It's
Right.
equal.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and we do our best to balance it as well balanced as possible.
So what's a prime time list besides obvious safety violations of stuff that'll DQ people?
The integrity is a big thing. That's one that we do our best to remove any kind of subjective standards, right? That's the one biggest frustration I think people have with fitness events. Specifically, you see High Rocks, Hiller Fit exists for a reason with CrossFit and so many different things. If it is unclear and you can do something less than I did and get to that final task or get to the shooting line faster than I can, then we didn't do the same thing. So we try to make it as equitable as humanly possible. Of course, it's an outdoor shooting sport, so there's going to be some things. Wind's going to shift, sunlight's going to move, like those things I can't do much about. But as far as making everything that we're doing equitable, that's the idea behind everything that we do. So I think as long as we continue to keep that, that'll stay. And when people try to intentionally do something to circumvent that process, you're not putting in the work. You're not here for the right reason. You're here to try to win instead of you're here to try to do the best that you can do and become the winner based on your ability. I've never been a fan of people trying to cheat to win. So that'll get you kicked out really quick.
No, and I agree with that 100%. Level the playing field and get after it.
Yep.
Do you see people that come in that just are, you can tell, and I'm curious about this, maybe at the skirmishes, but do you see people that with the weapons that you have to pull them aside and be like, hey, look, especially like a Glock or something, like a basic range safety procedure stuff? Because from what I've seen, especially at the elite and the tactical, you don't have that issue. I'm just curious about like skirmish and intermediate.
So what we have done with our safety measures is probably, and I'm not ashamed to admit this, created some training scars, but it ensures that everybody gets to go home safe at the end of the weekend. So a lot of the processes that we've put in place help to mitigate that as much as possible. So you can show up, as long as you understand what the end of the gun that's going to do the damage is and where to point it. We've kind of gotten rid of every other opportunity for failure in that. Now, of course, there's always going to be things that can happen. We do our best to mitigate them as much as possible. We used to sling rifles. Whenever we would leave the firing line, we would have a rifle slung. It's a great idea in theory, and it's great to test how your sling is going to hold up when you're crawling over stuff. But then you would go and you would face where all the spectators were, and you'd bend over to pick up a bag, and your rifle's flagging everybody that's behind the line now. We know the rifle's mechanically cleared, but they don't know that. So now optics play into it as well. So we leave rifles in the firing line now, unless we're doing something else with them and they've got a chamber flag in them so that we know that they're safe. Because the communities that we serve, I would hate for one of those people to be doing something fun on the weekend and not be able to make it home when they have a real job that they have to worry about that every single day. So if I can mitigate that, we're going to mitigate it as much as possible while still keeping the integrity of the sport.
It's a great call.
Yeah.
I love it. Is there, for people listening, I think hopefully we've lathered them up enough to think about competing. The fact that you're in so many regions with so many events, the different levels of entry that you come in, or if you're thinking about it, it's one of those things that, what's the old SAS menu? The guts to try. Right? Like why not just give it a swing and then do some self-diagnosis. Like maybe you do a skirmish, then you say, okay, and next year I'm doing this.
Right.
And then you start getting
set a
ready.
goal and train for it.
Set a goal and train for it.
Yep.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell our listeners? And by the way, if you're hearing all this, I'll tell you, if you're a social media person, they run a phenomenal social media page. The Tactical Games to me gives a really, it's not just pictures. It's really good snapshot video, live event coverage, where you can get a taste of what's going on without being there.
Yep.
I can tell you that when I have competitors at the events, I'm glued to it.
That's awesome.
Because I want to see if Lauren is interviewing Janae. Janae, you're sitting at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah,
I'm like, hell yeah.
No, and from a sponsor perspective, to see your athletes out there crushing it, of course, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we're so proud of them. And again, what we want to do too, to be honest with you, is we want to become a bigger name in the sport. And you and I can talk about that off camera and all that kind of stuff. But we think that what you're doing there, and when I say we, some partners of ours in the industry have been talking that we think we can get you to another level as far as, you know, a big power move with everybody. But there's nothing you guys are doing that's not in the right direction.
I
The
appreciate
growth,
that.
the vision, it's absolutely, I hate to use this word, but it's a great business model.
Oh,
I
thank
mean,
you.
because you're building something for the community, but you're also building something for you, which I love.
Oh, yeah.
So
I love the sport.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody that is involved in this organization right now does not love what they do. I've worked in corporate America. Yeah, I worked in the defense industry for a long time. I've done all of that shit, and there is nothing that has made me feel as fulfilled and happy as this. And I'll keep doing it as long as people appreciate it, and as long as I feel like we can continue to improve the product and do something better and better and better. We're going to keep plugging away at it, and we're going to crush it. The world domination is the goal.
I love it.
I want to be
World
the next
domination.
UFC.
I love it. I love it. It'll be up. I'll turn my TV on for two things now. It'll be UFC and tactical games. Because I don't watch TV unless it's something like that. So anything else you'd like to tell to our listeners? Because we got a great audience, and I think that definitely because of our audience, this is going to spark some new interest.
Sure.
So,
Go out and do it. Just try it. Like you're not going to be perfect your first time. That's absolutely acceptable. You're never going to achieve perfection, but in the pursuit of it, you might achieve excellence. And that's what I want for our athletes is just go after, and whether it's our sport or not, just go out and do something that's going to make you feel good. And it's not going to be hitting the bottle or doing anything like that. Find an athletic endeavor or something that's going to challenge your mind and challenge you physically.
I'm going to throw 3 challenges out. One is to couples. If you are a couple that are fit and enjoy shooting, what a better thing to dive into. What a better thing to say, hey, let's do this. Let's come up with a 1-year plan. Let's target one. Let's start shooting more. Let's start training more. And at the end of it, if you're more fit and can shoot and compete as a couple, I think that's a win.
Yeah, spend that time with your loved one.
Yeah. The second one I'm going to bring out to is all my compadres that are retired military. You heard him. He's got an over 50 and now an over 60s masters. If you're sitting at home and you're getting that big fucking Buddha belly from Taco Tuesday, get back in the game. Here's a clear way to do it. Call me out, man. Message me. Let's go compete together. I'm down for it. And then the last one is for those of us in the industry. I just think that this is the sport for us to be supporting. I think that there's a lot of really cool shit out there and expos and all that. But as far as a sport with a meaning, I think for us in the industry that we ought to be supporting you. And I'm going to lead the spear on that. Like I think that we can do a lot to promote this and keep it going. And so use your channels, use your Instagram, use your YouTube, use your TikTok and everything. Promote the games because we all win. Because I'm going to be honest with you, hell, I've listed probably 20 products here just in talking. But, you know, if you build an optic, if you build a gun of any, you know, pistol, rifle, hell, apparel brands that compete with us.
Oh, cut and sew, plate carriers. Yeah.
You know, there's so much out there that just think about it, that this is a brand to put or an event to push. So final comments?
All good. Thank you very much, Bruno.
All right. Well, I got 2 things. One, I hope you're not all checked bags on the airline.
I am, but that's all right.
So we'll mail this to you. But one of our sponsors that we love working with, Montana Knife, builds just an amazing knife. And so typically when I have people on the show, I either give them a knife or a bottle of whiskey from Hooten and Young from Norm Hooten. And I'm like, yeah, man, with what we're talking about here, I think we're going to go with the knife. So from Montana Knife and me, there you go.
Thank you very much.
I think you'll love that. And then this comes from the military culture. You can't have a podcast without having your own coin.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Bruno.
Thank you, brother.
It's been awesome. Appreciate it.
Been a pleasure having you. For those that are tuning in, again, it's the Tactical Games. It was an honor to have Nick Thayer on here. We will have a booth out at Nationals. We will have a lot of athletes there. We are going to continue to promote this sport. I would say that please follow them on Instagram. And then obviously like and subscribe to this podcast. And Nationals are right around the week. So take a look at the athletes out there, pick a favorite one, get on Instagram and follow them.
Yeah. Give them love too.
All right. Everybody have a great day. Thanks. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow us at Born Primitive Tactical. I'll see you next time.